Welcome to our Imperfect Podcast. We are learning as we go, and we're glad you're here to join us. We're going to talk to you a little bit. Look at us having fun. We're going to talk to you a little bit today about what in the world got this whole thing started and where we see it going right now. Because who knows where it'll go in the future. Right, ladies?
That's right. Buckle in.
Right.
That's it. Buckle in.
And cinch it up tight.
Right. Susie, you had tossed up earlier a good question. So why don't we start there? Because it was a good one.
Yeah. I think that the people need, as we introduce and make ourselves known, and with you and Catherine being, the founding members, I mean, it was within your heart, it was a calling within your heart that you guys came together. But what was it that was lacking? And I know your members, served on boards of other associations, been members of, different associations. What was it that was lacking or was a disenchantment for you guys that made you want to do something different? Because what you two and, had the inspiration to provide is different than what's out there right now. So
I think a couple of things. Number one, she and I are both educators at heart. And maybe some of the feedback that we got from our students, as far as the association that were in place at the time may not have found the most value. But in addition to that, is that she and I are both intuitive. We integrate intuitively our intuition into our practice, our private practice. And it's how Catherine's always done it. And I'm a psychic medium, so it's always how I've done it. My sessions are led by my intuition. So she made a comment to me about, well, I just have always done it this way. And I said, really? Me too. And I haven't really found any place that offers a home for both. So we decided to create one. And, we attract people who are like us, energy, the law of energy, we attract what we vibrate, right? And so we found that in general, especially the spiritual side of things, that there is not really a structured learning environment for that, and much less integrating it into some of the modalities that are widely accepted, like hypnotherapy now. So we decided to create a home for both sides. And that's where it all began. The conversation began. What would you add to that, Catherine?
yeah.
Well, I think I would repeat definitely what you said, but also as I've been talking to people, some of my graduates and other hypnotherapists, they're so excited to have this available because we should have it up and running shortly. They're so excited because they're already wanting this integrative approach. They're seeing the need with their clients for a spiritual connection, that there's got to be more than what's just there on the surface. And I think we see it in the clients, but other people are seeing that same thing. People want more depth. And I think that there needs to be then an association that supports that. We're all intuitive. I was fortunate to grow up in a home where, of course, we were intuitive. That was a given. And we were told, we were programmed to believe that as we got older, we'd be more intuitive, which has worked out really well for our family. But all of us are intuitive. So if we develop that and we live in that place of being connected to spirit and using our intuition, then we're living in the flow. And we want the association to support that.
Right. And I think also as practitioners, we have found greater transformations with our clients through mind, body, spirit approaches. So I know that I incorporate, my intuitive stuff and spiritual law from my writings that I've, gathered through the years, as well as, the healing modalities, life coaching, law of attraction stuff. It all kind of dovetails together because none of us are one dimensional. And who's to say that there's a lot of value to a lot of different modalities. Why not integrate them for greater transformations and greater healing? And so I think that we all were doing that decades ago. So now we're just sort of supporting it because it's not widely understood most places. So, that of which you can't find, you create.
That's
That's
it
true.
exactly. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Susie.
So I was going to ask, I've heard a lot of other practitioners say that they feel like they're just a single fish out in a vast ocean. They feel alone and unsupported and have no resources and don't even know where to turn, other than maybe a classmate, like the blind leading the blind. They just feel unsupported. Tell me, talk about your vision in terms of support and enhancement and for your members and forming that sense of connected, being connected within the association.
Oh, where to begin? We have a whole
Right.
host of things. Really, we do. Let's just start with the well, in my training, and Catherine's too, I believe, we integrate people's healings into their training because I believe that you're supposed to heal in the coursework of your training because you become your greatest testimonial for this,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So, I support that. That doesn't necessarily happen as a general rule, though. So I think that starts, and we want to continue offering the environment for our as practitioners to have some place to go to for their own healing, because we never really get it done, do we? As soon as we
Right.
heal something, is another layer that you find. So we want to be an ongoing support to our own healing because we become a better practitioner and a better healer for it, better therapist for it. But also, well, what would you say to that? Adding on to that, Catherine, as far as the that, but I mean, we're gonna do like circles so that we can have chats, fireside chats for our members, so
Mhm.
that they can come in and talk about the things that they're struggling with.
Mhm.
And we as mentors and other, members of the association can come in and offer their expertise. So there's going to be that. We even are going to be able to train the teachers. If you want to become a teacher, an instructor, we will be able to guide you along that pathway. So it's also, and this is a big thing that I'm like a dog with a bone about this. I feel as though it's important for your business to reflect your life purpose, because I feel as though you're in the flow. And when you're in the flow, you are not tilting against windmills and you're not swimming against the current of life. Business becomes much easier when you are doing things that are in alignment with what you came here to do. And many people don't even know what that is. So we also hold space for that work to figure that out, right? And also the business development. You can be a great practitioner, have a phenomenal skill set, but if you don't know how to run a business and get clients, it's wasted. So where do we begin in the ways that we're going to offer support to people? What else would you say about that, Catherine?
Well, I think it's everything you said, and here's my thought that I see from a lot of other practitioners. They're new in business. Suddenly, they're out of a classroom environment. They're all by themselves. They're one-on-one with that client, and it doesn't go well. I had a client call me, or not a client, a colleague called me maybe a month or so ago, and she was just about in tears because she had a client who wanted a refund, demanded a refund, and she had done all these things in the way she should have done them, and yet, and she has no way to turn to for support. So she called me because I've known her for years, and we were able to talk through it. As I questioned her, did you do this? Did you do that? I was able to say, you did everything you needed to do. And that's what's missing for so many people in this profession. And then sometimes it's so overwhelming, I think they give up.
Yeah.
And we don't need people giving up. We need
Discouraged.
people doing the work, because we need more hypnotherapists and more integrative practitioners who can bring in this skill set and that. Like I combine EFT and I combine past lives and future lives. And lately I'm combining astrology to really personalize what I do with my clients. And I'm teaching it to hypnotherapists. There's got to be this multidisciplinary approach, and there's got to be support in doing that. How many people have thought about bringing in astrology, for example, with their clients? It's making so much difference. I can't even begin to tell you. So I think that's where this association is going to fill in the blanks that hasn't been addressed before.
Right. And Melissa, coming from the opposite end, because you were one of the ones that were very vocal about not feeling as though in the past that you've had support from other associations. So why don't you speak to what your experience has been and why you came in?
Well, I
through
would
our association?
say um, I just never really felt like part of that, the association I was in. And it wasn't that people aren't necessarily welcoming, but lots of this education is done online. There's not really an opportunity there to make a connection as easily unless you're invited into a group, which Catherine has already established, which that does make it a lot easier. But also it's intimidating to go into a group of hypnotherapists that have been practicing for a really long time. And if you don't feel completely confident right out of the gate, I don't know. I feel like, to me, I don't want people, what if they find out I'm a fraud? You know? Um, so there's just this, it's almost like I put myself at a certain layer or level and didn't feel
Mm,
comfortable stretching myself out into asking questions or, asking for support. And of course, Kelly, you were my instructor, so I'm very comfortable with you, but no, it's not always the case that people feel like they can go in and just ask any question of a
mm,
group of people. And
right.
I didn't find that there were opportunities to really ask a lot of questions. There wasn't really a place for me to go in my association to say, "Hey, I need help with this." And some of the associations, I don't know if they all do this, offering maybe the free CE hours.
Mhm.
Um, you can join live or you can watch video. The topics were very few of them were relating to what I wanted to study, which is the more
Mhm.
spiritual concepts. And so I know that I want to belong to an association that's going to expand more into the area that I belong in.
Mhm.
So I really wanted to be a part of this and be able to be a welcoming member for new association members and make this an even playing field where everyone feels comfortable
Mhm.
asking whatever they need to ask, learning saying that they need to learn some, let me hone my skills. That's
Yeah.
where we're going with that too, to make people feel comfortable and open to learn.
Well, we are certainly happy and lucky to have you, both of you, as a matter of fact. What about you, Susie? What brought
Um,
your interest level pointing in this direction?
my initial experience as a wet behind the ears newbie, I call them hypno babies, fresh to the game, is unlike Melissa, um, I was, I don't usually have a lack or a hesitation about jumping into the fire. And what I wanted when I first joined I joined a couple of associations because I wanted to be surrounded. I wanted to ride the coattails of my elders. I wanted to be surrounded by the wisdom of their experiences. And I also allowed myself the opportunity to pick and choose what suited me and what resonated with me and my spirit, my soul. So when I came up against, and mind you, and this is still the case, some of the old timers are rigid and have hard edges, and they just do it one way and they don't do it any other way. And I was quite comfortable and have been since the get-go is listening to what they had to say and then taking what I wanted and putting my own spin on it and then rolling it out. You couldn't unwelcome me because I inserted myself into every
Mhm.
element of every association that I was in. It was like, I double dog dare you to leave me in the dirt. It ain't going to happen.
You're so shy and retiring,
Right,
Susie.
right. I know exactly, right.
All right.
Hesitant and reserved.
Really must come out of your shell.
Right.
We
So
love it.
what I really I was honored and thrilled to be invited to be, participatory at the birth of this, to contribute to the birth of this new association. And I align with that body, mind, and spirit because it addresses body, mind, and spirit. And
Mm,
all four of us have this element, this mindset, this heart set, this soul set of like this big arm going out and welcoming people in, like, and to be available and to be transparent and to be offering and giving and mentoring and supportive.
mhm,
Because one of the things that I've noticed in our field, this healing art, is we get these new students who step out into the world and they don't even have, they've got their training wheels on, but we want their training wheels off, but they don't know how to do it. And that's the beauty of this association, is it's so well-rounded. So you can come into it, 35, 40 years of experience. There's a few practitioners, Catherine, who've been at this since dirt was invented, right?
Oh, she said that
Not,
with love and light, Catherine.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
I said
Sorry.
it to her before, right? It's and again, and we would also welcoming to that newbie that just got out of it. So it's like non-denominational, and that's what I love about this is the offering of support. And if you need this, we've got this. If you need XYZ or ABC, here are the offerings, and then the sense of community. And also, what I really like is the sense of authentic standards. It's not just a money game. It's like holding high standards, so that there are practitioners out there operating with integrity.
And well trained, because
Yes.
I have to tell you, I have been an advocate for parity from school to school, hypnotherapist to hypnotherapist, because we have such a transformative skill set as hypnotherapists. It's important to really, really have good quality training. And we've seen that there's been, lulls and valleys in that. There's really not. And so what we are aiming to do in our association is to really stress parity across the board for our practitioners. I want to also speak to what you said, Susie, because, we are products of our experience, right? And when I was in my hypnotherapy training 15 years ago, I was one of 25 students in my class. And business development was not really highlighted. And I came in with 20 plus years of business experience. And then we had someone else in my class, a colleague, that had a practice already up and going. He was, I think he was an acupuncturist, and so he already had a practice up and going. Now, hypnotherapy is a different animal altogether. I don't care if you have a practice up and going or not, it's different, really different. So you have to know how to speak to that in order to develop a business, plus have foundational business experience. And what I can tell you is when I came out of my class, there was only three of us that were able to parlay our skill set into a successful practice. 3 out of 25. That bothered me. It bothered me because, to be honest, I was trying to just take hypnotherapy to become a natural adjunct to my psychic development, my psychic medium private practice that I was looking to get up and going. But at the time, I felt like I had to legitimize. But as things happen spiritually, when you step out on faith in yourself, source will come in and show you something that's far greater than what you can imagine for yourself. I.e., for Kelly, it was healing my special brand of crazy, which was done in hypnosis, my hypnotherapy training. Healed 15 years of anxiety and depression in one past life regression. Interesting, right? Because that's both sides of what I do. Hypnotherapy plus spirituality is the one process. So divine order and alignment, that's what happened. But when I came out, I had this phenomenal skill set. I had healed, transformed, but yet I was seeing all these folks just not being able to figure it out. And that bothered me. And that's what really prompted me to become an instructor, because I thought it was a shame to have this transformative skill set and then nobody could use it because you can't figure out the business aspect. Dead in the water. So there was 3 of us and one died. So today there's only 2 of us standing, 2, which I thought that was a shame. So that's what, made me pivot, because that really did bother me. So yeah. Catherine, what about you?
Oh, well, I thought at the time I had decent training, but we had half a day of business, half a day. And luckily for me, I have a business mindset.
Mhm.
So we had my family had a business and I worked in the family business, and it's a fit for me, for my personality. So the business part, although I have to say I took 8 years to get my practice up and going because I had a day job. And if I quit the day job too soon, I wouldn't keep my medical and dental benefits, which is priceless, and you don't just walk away from those. So it took me longer, I think, than it does a lot of people, but I've had a thriving practice for a long time. But Kelly, you're right. People don't have a natural ability to do business. They need training in that and they need to change their mindset, I think, because a lot of times, well, I'm doing spiritual work, I shouldn't be getting paid for it, or I shouldn't be getting paid very much. That's not how this works. Got to be able to make your house payment
No.
at the end of the month.
And that is something that we're going to offer, specifically a certain lane within this association, is to help healers move past their money blocks.
Yes.
Because really, the more you move past them, the better hypnotherapist or the best therapist you become, because you're not holding yourself back. You're not blocking your blessings. And I think that as practitioners, we've learned so much through the years, those of us who have been in business for quite some time, that we begin to teach from the place of which we have been. 25 years in business for myself. I mean, in business experience in corporate America, it still took me a good 3 years to figure out how to run my business as I run it now. Still. So you can imagine if someone that doesn't have any sort of experience, how much of an uphill climb that is. So yeah, I mean, we're going to offer them because we know the pitfalls, having been doing this for so long. So we can offer you a lifeline, offer our members a lifeline, because we know we have a rear view, really good view of where they're coming from into, that we can help them. We can help them, move past some of these things. But it's important to do our own work so that we can show up the best for our clients.
It is. And really, when you have a group that gets together on a regular basis and people start making connections with their colleagues, they're building that support system. They have people they can reach out to and do sessions for each other, people they can call. And just like the friend or the colleague who called me, and just run it past somebody else, get another opinion. And that's really valuable.
And then let's talk about the other side, because we have an open lane for the layperson. Say you're not a hypnotherapist. Say you're a spiritualist. How many people have come to me through the years that they come to me and say, I'm a healer, but I just don't know what type. We can help them to understand and offer them a lane in order to begin that work. And even if, they are just wanting to learn their intuitive gifts, we have a whole section of education where people can come in. All they need is the desire on both ends, actually, to become a hypnotherapist, to become a life coach, to become an intuitive, to develop your intuitive gifts. All you really need is an interest and a service-oriented heart. And we can offer you a pathway in, especially when you dovetail that into the life purpose work too. It gets really fun and interesting. But most people don't know where to go, and we create a tribe for us, for those people who have that interest. We have education as well as the tribal support for
that's the word right
that
there.
person.
You have to find your tribe.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I moved down here 14 years ago to Southern California from Northern California, I found my tribe. Finally, when I could talk about anything and nobody in the group said, whoa, okay, so I'm going to step away from you. That's when you found your tribe.
Right. As a self-taught psychic medium and channel and all the things that I do, it took me 10, 15 years to develop my gifts because I was on a solo journey, starting at 17 at UC Berkeley. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just had an intense nosiness to peek behind the veil, frankly, and not afraid to fail. I believe in failing forward. So I didn't, was kind of maintaining the spirit of the toddler, fall over and over and over again. It didn't bother me. I just joyfully got up because I was so impassioned about it. But it took me 10 years or whatever to do that. Now, I offer coursework that my students don't have to have that. They now have a teacher. I didn't have a teacher. I didn't have a supportive tribe. I was really under the radar. When I first started doing readings for people, people were falling out of chairs. They're like, "You're doing what?" And they called me Miss Cleo. They laughed at me. Yeah, they don't laugh anymore. They come to me and say, can you look at something for me? But that comes with time, and so you just have to follow your own path and honor your authenticity. And I think that's something else that we offer too, a safe lane for you to explore the full scope of who you are. And I think that's a beautiful thing and a safe environment to do it.
I think it is. And I think we've probably talked enough for now. We will certainly be back on with other offerings, but I think people have had a chance maybe now to get a little acquainted with who we are and what we're putting together here. And they can reach out and ask questions, and we'll be available to answer them.
All right. Till the next time, ladies.
There
All
we
right.
go.
Namaste.
Namaste.